Welcome to the Regular Joe's podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry Kay.
I'm Todd Pleasant.
And I'm Derryl DePriest.
Welcome back,
Episode
Derryl.
401.
Thanks for having me, guys.
New era.
401 with a K.
And I thought you were talking about my former area code in Rhode Island, 401.
Yeah.
But congrats on 400, guys. That was amazing. I loved that pilot, that Zero episode you did.
Isn't that ridiculous?
And your wise commentary, your years of podcasting experience. Clearly, you are professionals.
Yes, or at least experienced, anyways.
Yeah.
Exactly. That was really entertaining.
It was fun. I had no idea what was on that. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was eye-opening.
Many seeds planted in episode 0.
That was the thing. I would say that is the thing that amazed me from that.
Me too.
Is how much of the things that we just referred back to all cropped up for the first time in that, and were inaccessible up
have
until
grown
episode
to
400.
Angry giant trees.
I'm glad you've left Maggie Gyllenhaal alone, Dave.
Some of which bear poison fruit.
You've matured and left Maggie in the past, so that's good.
I still believe that. I was watching Batman Begins for like 10 minutes the other day, and what's her face is Katie Holmes.
Katie Holmes.
So much cuter.
There is a not great deep faked version where they superimposed her, and the problem is she's actually got more scenes in the second film. So
that's funny.
So
that's
it's and so there's clearly like 4 versions of Katie Holmes inserted in there, and it doesn't quite work as well.
Right?
And she's still got Maggie Gyllenhaal's voice, but I did watch that. I watched like 3 scenes of that one time, and it was like, oh, just keep trying, dude.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll still keep editing that. I'll let you know when I have it perfected.
Keep working on your technique, dude.
It's called the Pisani cut, I believe.
Yes,
That's right.
Exactly. Put Katie Holmes in everything. Okay, so today, the Suicide Squad.
Yes.
There will be spoilers, Darryl, in case you're
Oh, let me go watch it quickly. Pause.
That's it.
I'm back.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, I just saw it.
Yep.
So if you haven't seen, what's today? I don't know.
It's been out for like 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah.
That's enough.
Hey, you're slagging me on my comment on the spoilers. So, Barry, all you have to do is pause for a second or two. Spoilers. Let somebody either pause the podcast.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Darryl. When one of my friends reprimands me via text, they hear about it on my podcast for the rest of their lives.
That is the tiny power we have.
That's right. Yeah.
That's true. All right. Keep going, Dave. Sorry.
I love you like a brother, but I'm going to tease you about it.
Yeah. So anyway, Suicide Squad, maybe some other stuff. We'll see where we get to. Probably, what if, I guess. A short what if. There's spoilers in that. It's only been 1 episode out as we record this.
There's another one that's
watched.
coming out as we record this tonight, but none of us have seen it, unless Todd's already watched it.
I have not yet.
Okay, and I'm not going to say anything other than this sentence, and we're not going to talk about it, but if you're not watching Titans and you haven't seen the first 2 seseasons, go watch them. Season 3 on HBO Max, it's great. Love
I haven't
it.
watched
Very,
season
very
3
good.
yet.
And probably the best of it is happening right
superhero
now.
show out right now.
Yeah,
I'm almost done with season 2. It's really peaking.
Season 3 is good.
Titans is great.
It's
to
great.
watch it.
I will say,
I didn't think you watched any, Barry.
Oh, no, I've watched the first 2 seasons.
Oh, you did?
So I've said this to somebody. It might have been Derryl, it might have been Dave, but I think other than Daredevil, I think this is like the best superhero stuff I've seen on TV. So
yeah, for sure. I'm glad
It's got Minka
resurrected.
Kelly in it. I'll watch anything Minka Kelly's in.
She's someone actually I work with texted me today. Minka Kelly is such a bad actress, and my response was, I don't care.
The first time we saw her in one of these episodes, she was standing behind something, and I'm like, is she pregnant again? Because she was obviously pregnant in one of the seasons where they had her.
Was she?
She
had a kid?
They shot her from the waist up. Or had her behind things, obviously, like ridiculously, like behind car hoods and things like this, for part of the production. And I was like, wait a minute. And then she like walked out, and it was like, okay, but yeah, no, it's that was really, really obvious. So
I didn't realize.
Yeah, me either.
I don't know. Is that true?
I almost positive.
Says who her parents are. She dated Chris Evans. Derek Jeter.
She dated Derek Jeter?
You didn't know that?
When I was watching season 1, I didn't know, like, I knew who Minka Kelly was. Minka Kelly. I didn't know that she played Dove. And I love the character of Dove. And I'm like, who is that? She's like vaguely familiar. And then I found out, I'm like, what? I can't even believe it. Like,
so I will say, I think, and I've probably said this, I'm sure I've said this before. I think from the page to the screen, Hank Hall is the best casting in any superhero thing I've ever seen. It is
so good.
Incredible.
He is like, absolutely.
He just like, he looks
I don't think
like
she has kids.
No?
I'm sorry, Minka, if you're listening and I'm missing it somewhere.
Okay.
I just also I guess we are going to talk about it. The dude who plays Hank is going to be Jack Reacher. I don't know if that's true, but if you've read the Jack Reacher books, that is the dude. It's as much as Tom Cruise is the ultimate in everything he does. Yeah. We all know that.
Yeah.
Jack Reacher's like this massive 6'5" dude.
Right. Yes. Yeah. But anyways, no, like I said, he was just unbelievable from the first time I saw him, and he was just like the casting is absolutely perfect.
I think the casting is absolutely fantastic. Nightwing's outstanding. I love
and better all Derryl in this episode. This wasn't going to be our topics, but in this episode, we get to see Nightwing acting like Nightwing for the first time. He's got kind of happy-go-lucky edge to him. He's like smiling during a fight scene and enjoying himself, and and the acrobatics are much more apparent, and it's
Everyone
really
get caught up on this, and then we'll talk.
Okay, Dave. Just so you know, I found an article from 2018 that says that this is when she was splitting up with her boyfriend, and it says that they share 2 children together, a 3-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old son. That was back in 2018.
2-year-old son would match the timing.
It would, because we're a year behind in the show, and it was 2019. Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
So,
okay.
Anyway.
Good one. Good noticing,
Barry,
Todd.
random.
Random. Okay, I'm gonna. This is maybe very random, but two quick things. One, we were talking last week about whether we would go see Shang-Chi in a theater. They did announce this week that 45 days post theatrical release, it's coming to Disney Plus. So. If you aren't comfortable going to a theater or just aren't super excited about this movie, if you wait 45 days, you can watch it at home for the cost of a Disney Plus subscription.
Thanks to Scarlett Johansson. Good job, Scarlett.
Can I jump something on that quick?
You can, but I have a follow up. So do you want to?
Okay, well you can go your follow up after.
My follow. Okay,
what's your follow up?
My follow up is just that on the flip side of that, G.I. Joe Snake Eyes, which was theatrical only, is on home video starting today. Yeah. So 3 weeks after it was a theatrical release, it is now available on demand.
One of those crazy prices, or is
$20?
It like,
yeah, it's $20.
Is what? 20?
$20.
I'm not paying $20.
Save your money.
I'm just saying that your money. 3 weeks is the fastest I've ever seen. Now, I've been working in the on-demand business for a very long time. I've never seen a movie come out unless it was planned as a day-and-date release.
It was such a disaster, Barry. Yes, it's a colossal disaster.
3 weeks post theatrical release, it is now available to watch at home.
Yep. A Quiet Place came out pretty quick. Quiet Place 2 came out quick, but I didn't know if it was a regular rental or. I mean, the box, when it was a long box office, stuff would last, and then we got shorter box offices. Now we have almost no box office, so they got to make money somehow.
No, anyway. I don't blame them for doing it. I was, we haven't spent a ton of time talking about it because I think Derryl, I don't know if you've seen it, but the three of us haven't seen Snake Eyes. So.
Oh, I have. Yeah.
So we really didn't have much to say about it because none of us saw it, but.
Yeah. I see most of my movies in the theater when they, like the week or the weekend they come out. So
I'll see it for $6 if they want to give it to me for $6.
I'll probably pay $20 just because I'm curious, although I've been prepared for it to be bad, and certainly not my G.I. Joe, but I'll still watch it.
Look, I'm curious to see what you guys think. We'll talk. We'll
talk after.
We'll get there. So what I was going to say is, if the reason that you don't associate Marvel and martial arts is Iron Fist, okay, there's a really good reason for that. I just read an article about with an interview with Brett Chan, who was the martial arts coordinator, stunt coordinator for the fight scenes in Iron Fist, who confirmed that Finn Jones prepared roughly 15 minutes for each scene. And Jessica Henwick, whose scenes actually were good and was not a martial artist with any experience whatsoever before that, trained 3 to 4 hours per scene. So he basically showed up and totally phoned it in. And then, afterwards, they blamed it on, on everything in the world. But, you can't not be a martial artist and try to fake it. And particularly when, like I said, they're
not in a martial arts themed TV series.
When they hired people to train, and he looked awkward. He looked uncomfortable. It was, and the worst part was there were times when he fought with her.
I never watched a single episode.
She's clearly a martial artist.
I watched a couple. It's not watchable, really.
She's clearly a martial artist. You look it up and it's like, nope, no, she's not a martial artist.
I like her, though. She did
good.
Great. She was the only good person.
She did terrific. And at the end of the series, they basically made her Iron Fist, which they should have done.
Spoiler.
And had they come back for another season, spoiler, nobody saw the show, the second season. But had they come back, she would have had that title and would have been interesting. So
was that part of the Netflix universe? Was it the last?
It was
so
the
Netflix
weakest
universe
part.
started out so good, and then it just went off the rails.
Well,
and I don't know if the story's been written on why that was. If it was someone from Kevin Feige's department stopped caring.
Well, once the deal was made with Disney, the rug got pulled out from under Netflix, and they lost their interest. They lost interest in this, and the quality of writers and directors for the final seasons on all those went way down.
So they just phoned it in. Okay,
they phoned it in because they had it, they paid for it, and
that's a shame.
Daredevil is the most watchable final season, but it doesn't measure up to the first two.
Yep.
And,
correct. Okay, moving right along. Darryl, what do you got?
So a while ago, we talked about, we watched Doom Patrol and Umbrella Academy. So for those who have never watched Umbrella Academy, who are listening to the show, I think our consensus recommendation is you got to watch this show.
Absolutely.
It is such a great superhero show. I believe it transcends the comic from which it originated.
Yep.
It's so good. And now Boss Fight Studios, friends of mine, former coworkers at Hasbro, have launched Umbrella Academy action figures. They're 3 3/4 scale action figures. They're amazing. They're so good. They're so accurate to the figures. I put in my order this week, and I'm so excited about this show, or the figures. And I guess Umbrella Academy season 3 is coming out. So I'm just really excited about Umbrella Academy right now. So can find
and it's Boss Fight, spelled just like Boss Fight,
right? Boss Fight Studios.
Okay.
And they're doing actually a lot of interesting niche.
Is this their first licensed thing? Because I know they've
been doing stuff for a while.
No, they've got
a number of things. They're
doing all kinds of stuff. They're doing another favorite of mine is like the classic Fleischmann Popeye.
Yep.
Looking at that right now. Popeye things. So they've got Popeye figures and
Flash Gordon.
They tend to do things that they really like, and they have kind of like an old comic soul. So you've got Flash Gordon and Zorro, and I think Lone Ranger, things like that. So they've got a lot of cool licenses, smaller licenses, but they're definitely up and comers in the action figure world. So Umbrella Academy figures from Boss Fight.
That's cool.
And if you, for whatever reason, just have not seen that show yet, just don't waste any time and go watch it.
It's so good.
Don't read anything about it. Just go in cold and just let it wash over you.
If you're a fan of comics, even if you're not a fan of comics,
or monkeys,
fan of, the superhero genre,
or umbrellas.
I'm still not ready. Look, I'm still not ready to talk about the monkey. Okay, so just
yeah.
Okay,
that's painful.
Moving right along. I'll be saying that a lot today.
It's not a monkey, Todd. It's an ape.
I know. Yeah.
Rubies and NECA are forming a new company that will be making high-end prop replicas, helmets, high-end costumes, and collectibles.
which is essentially taking over for Anovos.
They are even supposedly fulfilling some Anovos pre-orders. Now, I didn't see news of Anovos going out of business.
Well, but we've been hearing about them only going out of business for 3
years. You can't see it because it's just moving too slowly.
But there's no like official deal. So this new company called Denuo Novo, whatever that means.
Which is Latin for starting over.
Yeah, exactly. They have the Star Wars license. So on their website, they have a couple of looks like Anovos things that they're fulfilling.
So I don't know how far you read into this, but I was reading a lot of like posts from people on like as follow-ups to this when the news hit about this, and there were people that were saying that they've got thousands of dollars in pre-orders with Anovos that they don't know that they'll ever get fulfilled.
I know, I saw that. Like that's crazy.
And then some people posted they've already emailed this new company asking, "Are you going to be fulfilling these orders?" And they're basically like, we announced ourselves as existing as of today. Like, give us some time to try to get caught up. But yeah, I mean, thankfully, I never got burned by them. But I've heard horror stories about.
I've liked their products. I never really pre-ordered anything.
Yeah, I mean, I only own a few of their pieces, and thankfully, everything that I ever bought, I got right away. But good. I mean, I hope these guys do great things. NECA makes good stuff. I've never been a fan of Ruby's, even their high-end stuff.
Well, it sounds like they're doing their Halloween stuff, and then they're going to. I think they're in a great position to do high-end stuff.
They've increasingly made better, higher-end stuff, and it's like I've looked at some of the stuff and been very surprised how it's kind of crept up. It's not Anovos quality,
but it's never been prop replica quality.
No.
But that hasn't been the.
That's not
that's not the market they're going for.
But that's not what they have been playing in.
That'll be interesting.
But it's not all like printed Halloween level crap. It's like they've improved, and
I'd be interested. I mean, that's easy enough. They certainly have the sourcing in China or wherever.
I worked with Ruby's while at Hasbro, and to Todd, to your point, I thought that they overachieved on some of their stuff, massively. So, but they were never playing in the high end prop replica thing. So, Dave, you're absolutely right. With now the field to hunt that they have, I'm pretty confident they can deliver. But they have to be totally aware that the critical eye on them is massive, because these things have to be perfect. But Lucasfilm, being the licensor, will guide them there. They're not going to let them release anything.
They're not going to let them cut corners.
Well, and having the NECA piece in there too, that those guys have been very good at making limited edition collectibles at a high quality. So
So I think this is great.
After they read all the comments from fans, they probably are going to just say, forget it. We're not going to actually do this. It's not worth the hassle.
Yeah, sorry, we changed our minds.
But
we all want more, more companies like this in the mix, because it'll get more competition. It'll keep everybody honest. It'll keep hopefully price points. I don't know if it'll keep price points down, but it'll definitely allow licenses to get daylight that they may not have otherwise with a smaller number of.
Well, and maybe EFX will feel some pressure to actually finally deliver some Shadeo people.
The EFX probably company.
Yeah,
they're in Westbury, New York. This new company.
I know. I pass them quite often.
Oh, Ruby's has that building right there.
Ruby's
right?
has the building there. Yeah. It's on 110. Yeah.
Ruby.
Say hi to Howard Beige as you go by.
Anyway, okay. Any other random?
I got an interesting one that I don't have a ton of detail on, but I read this article the other day. The Roddenberry estate brokered a deal to do a digital archive of all of Gene Roddenberry's documentation. They're going to do 3D digital archives of all the ships and holographic renderings of movie sets and starships. It's a company called, and I don't know how to pronounce it, so it's Otoy or Otoy, who is apparently a big digital archiving company, and they cut the deal with these guys. So it says it's going to span all of the series and all of the offshoots of everything he ever did. But so, I mean,
what do they actually own?
It's what I did read something about this that said, as of this point, it's totally uncurated, and it's going to be very kind of random. There's going to be a lot of really cool things in there, but don't expect it to be comprehensive. Because
and it's not Paramount, right? So it's not going to be.
That's what I'm saying. it
could be cool. I mean, who knows what he has in his archives? This is
Gene Roddenberry's garage, basically, is what we're going to see.
It's Lincoln Enterprises all over again, not digital.
Yeah,
but doesn't that at least interest you enough to want to?
Oh
know
no, that's what I'm saying. I think it's going to be.
I
think it's going to be really interesting. I just think it's going to be. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see
all the letters for him cheating on his wife.
Yeah.
That's documented. I'm not.
Maybe they waited until they were both, deceased before they said, "All right, now release the archives."
He cheated on Majel Barrett. Oh, is it Majel Barrett?
Yeah, it was the 60s. It was the 60s, Derryl.
And with his first wife, according to the books. Again,
according to the books, yes.
I don't know anything personally.
Yeah.
You know who doesn't cheat on anything? Fanboy Collectibles. They are awesome.
Straight up good
They
people.
are straight up good dudes.
Yes.
You're right.
Best transition ever.
Pre-order. Hot Toys King Shark. We'll
confidence.
talk about that. Not that we'll talk about Hot Toys. We'll talk about King Shark. The Gentle Giant's got a Dark Ray statue. There's a Iron Studios got a Mandalorian speeder bike.
That's a really cool looking thing.
What else do they have?
Check that out. There's amazing detail on that speeder bike, and it's the Boba Fett's armor's on there, and Grogu's on there, and it's really cool.
There's a really cool Game of Thrones, Iron Studios Game of Thrones Jon Snow statue sitting on the throne.
That.
It's pretty freaking big.
Yeah.
Wow. But do they have any pops?
Yeah.
Oh, they got pops.
Kotobukiya?
They have Kotobukiyas too.
Sideshow.
Kotobukiya. Sideshow. Oh.
Statues. Anything
you could want.
Sounds like they really know their statues.
They do.
So.
They do.
Or check them out at their store in Newtown, Connecticut. Tell them the regular Joe sent you. All right, what are we doing? What if timer's on now?
Okay.
It was good. She was too big.
Yeah, I knew you were going to have that issue. Jesus Christ.
She was big, which makes the contrast with
Rogers.
Yeah, he can't gain 25% in size.
And her,
or maybe 50% in size, and have her not. Okay,
you would think she wouldn't, but that's interesting that they had to do that.
Yeah, so
I'd still take a 25% larger Haley Atwell any day.
It's like it's economy size.
But the love showed that it's not your size, Dave. It's what's in your heart that really
exactly
matters.
Clearly, as she was about to crush him.
I have a friend that would say, I'd climb her like a tree. So,
please, we're at a timer, okay? So
I don't have anything positive to say about this, and I was excited about it. So
it was good. It was all right. Okay. There's nothing spectacular.
Darryl, have you read What Ifs before?
Oh boy, here we go. Back to the source material.
I have read What Ifs. Yes.
Okay.
I have
99.9% of the people have never heard of it or read it. But anyway.
So, Todd, why don't you describe what If is?
It's exactly what it is.
It's the show.
It is exactly.
It was literally off the pages.
Yeah. It was. That's what I'm saying. And I think they it may not have been everybody's thing, but they stayed completely true to the spirit of this.
For the audience who don't know what If is.
So what
is
If
the
is the Watcher? Okay, who's a celestial being, basically talks about the multiverse and tells how one little incident changing things could change things on a completely different path, and then gives an example, and that's the What If story. And there's some really good ones. There's some really tedious ones. I like this. Like I said, what I liked about it was they very much kept to that formula. They didn't show you every single detail of every single thing that happened. They stuck that World War II montage in exactly at the point that they did in Captain America, which I didn't.
It would have been interesting if they did something a little different. That's
exactly
what was in.
But that was the whole point. This is,
but it was nothing different.
My point exactly is, I've read What If comics and I get it, and great that they stuck to that format. But it felt like it was just, what if we put Peggy in instead of Steve? And they changed nothing else, it felt like. And
it was just on the rails.
I would have preferred it
was
if they had gone a little bit more deep.
I think her personality was very different than his personality, and I think it was different enough in that regard. I like the addition of the Hydra Stomper. I thought that was kind of cool. Who missed that the Tetrasac was powering that?
Or Tesseract?
Tesseract was what was powering that. Because apparently a lot of people did.
was powering the Hydra Stomper.
The Hydra Stomper. Yeah.
That was
so
pretty.
I thought so too, but I had read that wasn't clear.
Had a blue glow. Yeah.
I was very much looking forward to this show, and I'm still going to keep watching it. I'm hoping that I'm not disappointed that everyone isn't just like, oh, we're going to flip 2 characters, and that's the only change we're going to make. But
I think this first show had such a familiar story to everybody. Like it flipped a familiar story. It kind of got people in, but Barry, I'm worried that it was maybe like not exciting or not differentiated enough to like really hook people.
Yeah, and like you mentioned the Hydra Stomper. It wasn't wrote the same exact story, but it wasn't different enough for me to really get me super excited.
Yeah. Right. And again, I think this was a safe starting point. I think it was an easy concept to explain. Okay. I liked that they got a lot of many of the original actors. I think they did a good job recasting Skinny Steve. They couldn't get Tommy Lee Jones, so they killed him.
Oh, they got that guy was horrible. That freaking Bradley Whitford.
Yeah, I thought he did perfectly fine in that role. I think they needed somebody to be that guy. That voice
did not match that drawing.
He was so
douchey.
He was douchey.
That's what he freaking looks like. They drew Bradley Whitford.
Yeah, it didn't sound like him though. I didn't like that voice.
I just think of him in Handmaid's Tale.
I thought it was fun.
My biggest issue with this whole thing was I really thought there was going to be a post-credit sequence. I really thought we were going to see something. I wanted to see like her meet old Steve. I wanted to see like Nick Fury say, "Let me tell you about the Avengers Initiative." I wanted something other than, "Oh, we won the war." And it just seemed like, boom, it's done.
But is that the point about the whole what if it goes?
Totally right? It is. And that's how
it doesn't tie to the universe.
They went to a certain point and they ended.
They're not going to take any risks in any territory that they can actually get into in real life.
We are going to see a what if Avengers at some point. I really think they're going to do that
on the screen.
Yeah, no, I'm saying in this. I think in this they're gonna pull a bunch of these. They're gonna do a multiverse Avengers at some point.
But maybe this leads to the higher question. It's like, who cares? I mean, this doesn't tie to the universe in any way. That's the whole,
and that's what I'm saying. And I think
so. It's like what skin do you have does anybody have in this game, right?
Yeah. So it's again, I obviously liked it more than you guys did. I see issues with it. It was safe. It was definitely a safe, easy choice. I think it was fun, though. I liked some of you almost ripped my arm off, kind of thing, stuff like this. It was like they had a lot of good little things they slipped in there.
And I think that this is maybe the first thing they've done in a long time that's not intended for everybody, right? Like Maria saw what this was and was like, I don't watch animation. And she's watched every Marvel movie, every Marvel series, and she's been 100% in. And she was just like, this is an easy pass for me.
Did she watch The Boys?
Yes.
Into the Spider-Verse?
She saw it but didn't love it. She's
okay,
more
so
like
if
women don't like animation. I'm telling you, they just don't. I know I don't, and I know
that. Dave. That's what I'm saying. But if you can't do animation, and I think that's Into the Spider-Verse is the benchmark for that, because if you can't see can't see that film for what it is, then you just don't like animation. It's just not something that and I think it's just how people process
I want to
things.
see them remake Spider-Man Homecoming with the pig in the exact same scenes.
Absolutely. Well, shot for shot.
Miss
Piggy will play Aunt May.
MJ and everything.
Yeah.
That's what I like to say.
Yeah.
Anyway, let us know what you thought of What If. We'll talk more about it. I don't know how many episodes there are, but probably too many. No, I'm kidding. I'll watch it. Freaking animation. I don't know. Anyway,
if I liked it more, I'm wearing my Captain America shirt.
I am too. I'm
Peggy
Carter.
Carter.
You'll be wearing your Captain Britain shirt.
Yeah,
or whatever her name is.
I found that interesting too. I know you're trying to close this out. That they didn't go Captain Britain.
Is that a thing? Is that a license?
That is a thing. It is a character. It is a Marvel character.
We'll probably see him soon.
He's not Captain Rogers. He's Captain America. And she wasn't wearing big. I don't know. It just seemed like Captain Britain was the easy throw on that one. So
she was working in America.
For something else.
She was working in America.
No, I don't think so.
They were in Europe.
I think they were in Europe.
They were okay.
Yeah, yeah. I also last thing, I liked Howard Stark.
Howard Stark was very cool. I will
good.
give you that.
So
was that the same dude?
Same dude.
Him?
Yeah.
See, that makes
Look,
sense.
I'm gonna watch them all. My question is, we've been so treated to amazing, theatrical movies, and now some great shows tied to the cinematic universe for like the next evolution. And this is just like, it doesn't tie to it. Like, why should we really care?
I will say movies, mediocre shows.
You have to be a super comic fan.
Animation.
I don't know.
Okay.
Well, I know you're trying to end this.
WandaVision wasn't mediocre. It was groundbreaking in a whole lot of ways.
Oh, WandaVision. And WandaVision was amazing.
And so I don't think it's all mediocre, but I would suggest all you Dave won't do this.
TV?
Watch this show. Watch
Captain America or whatever, Winter Soldier, and the other guy was
mediocre.
Not great.
Loki was the WandaVision was terrific. Watch it a second time. Dave won't do this. I actually appreciated it a whole lot more the second time.
Time on my hands. I don't know where
I understand.
find the time.
It's just give up sleeping. It just makes things much easier for media consumption.
I'm going to continue this for just 1 second, but you said animation. So I do like animation. I'm a fan of animation.
This animation. I know.
No, I know. But and I'm a huge Star Wars fan. And I sent you guys the trailer for the Star Wars Visions.
I don't even want to watch the trailer. It looks so awful.
It's so not for me. Like,
yeah.
So not for me, and it's everything I like wrapped up in one thing, except
anime.
Except it's anime,
and that is one of the things that I think this does that
I haven't seen.
Into Spider-Verse does too. Is they went with a very neutral animation style. It's not highly stylized. It's and it's evocative of the period. I think that was really smart.
Yeah, so off air, watch that trailer and text me and tell me what you think.
Okay,
he's watching it right now.
I was just like, what? And they've got a lot of people plugged into this.
I thought it was going to be Star Wars stories and characters told in an anime style, but I didn't recognize
anime told with Star Wars.
Yeah, I didn't recognize anything or anybody.
It's purely
lightsabers. Anime. That's it. But you mean anime Stormtrooper?
No, yeah, this was announced. Yeah. This was announced before. Okay.
Yeah.
But they finally released a trailer.
Is this going to be the first Star Wars thing you don't watch?
He'll watch it.
I might try it, but I'm not expecting to like it based on what I just saw in that trailer.
What was the bad one, Barry?
I watched every episode of Resistance.
Resistance, okay. He watched every episode of Resistance. Case in
point.
And
apparently bought the action figures, but never told you.
It's like stabbing yourself with a fork because it feels so good when it stops. Okay, it's like, it's Resistance is finally over, but I watched it. It's like
coming from you, this is pretty pot calling the kettle black for some of the crap.
I agree. That's why I didn't go down that road.
Right. Speaking of which, are you watching the second season of Stargirl?
What's that? No, I gotta say, I did finish the first season. I made myself do it, but like Batwoman, I'm not getting back into that pond. It's
okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, there's hope for you yet.
Yeah,
but Dave's still watching Nancy Drew.
But were I to start,
Jesus, over.
Don't
awesome.
even.
Nancy Drew's better than Stargirl. I'm sorry to say.
It probably is.
Yeah,
we all have.
I don't think I believe Dave, that. I don't think I do.
We have guilty pleasures. Todd has the burden of a hair shirt because he's a completist, so he has to. He has to
God, yes.
He has to watch all.
I suffer for other people's art.
There's a difference.
So, I still have all that stuff on my TiVo, and the crazy thing is, I think Flash only ended like 2 weeks ago. It went on forever, and I'm like, is this recording another episode of this thing?
I had 11 episodes of Flash on my DVR, and I finally clicked the button that deleted all of them in one shot.
I got to do that.
Freedom.
I will finish it. I'll finish. I will go back and finish. God,
is Iris still stuck in a mirror?
Is it like 24 episodes a season? Oh my god,
probably.
I put it this way: I will finish Supergirl because it's a shorter season.
Oh my god, it was. I went back.
I will finish that.
Brutal.
And I'm enjoying Superman and Lois. And
I am enjoying that. The finale was last night.
I'm still like 5 behind.
They had a freaking baseball game on here in New York.
And I like Legends of Tomorrow. It's just fun. So, yeah.
I've started watching Heels on Stars. That's a whole nother story. Our pal Arrow in it. Okay, moving right along.
More superhero stuff.
The Suicide Squad.
Yes.
James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. It's on HBO Max. See it if you have it.
I saw it in the theater.
In theaters also.
It's in theaters, yeah, if you want.
I recommend going to the theaters if that's an option for you. Keep the theater owners solvent.
Yeah, well, good luck with that. I wonder how we all feel.
Where do we want to
start?
Where do we want to start?
I don't want to start. Okay,
compare and contrast.
Do you want to start
Suicide
with
Squad versus the Suicide Squad?
Do you want to start with the first one?
Steaming pile of shit. Okay.
Yep, the first
Actually,
one.
very good, enjoyable
Squad.
film.
Yeah,
it was all right.
I loved it. I enjoyed every minute of this film.
I didn't love it.
I thought the first one missed.
We're not talking about the first one.
No. Well,
but just it is necessary because
the first one missed what the essence of the Suicide Squad was.
Absolutely.
If now Todd and I both read the comic,
Yep.
assume probably not a lot of people have read the comic. It is a wonderful comic, created by John Ostrander.
Yep.
It's an amazing premise. The first one didn't deliver. This one delivered the spirit of it that made me fall in love with it and why it's so unique in the, in the panoply of comics that are out there.
And
I love this one.
This is why this was the central thing they did wrong with Suicide Squad is in Suicide Squad is they sent them on this like world-ending catastrophic high stakes mission. That's not what these people were for.
No,
they were expendable. They sent them. It was like the Dirty Dozen every week. Okay, it was like, okay, we're going to send you out to do this really terrible thing that we're going to deny ever happened afterwards. Okay, not send you to do a thing that we should send the Justice League to do.
Yep.
And they were sent to this, this shitty island municipality, principality that, there was no consequence to their all dying there, as we obviously saw, because they killed a crap load of them getting into the story. Like I said, it very much matched up with the way it was supposed to be. This is what we should have got first time around. It astonishes me that they made a second trip to this well. It really does.
And what I'll say, and the reason I think you have to at least reference the first one, is that they didn't ignore the first one. They had two of the main characters from the first, and I'm not talking about any of the superheroes. They had Amanda Waller and Flag carry over the same actors, even. So they were not in any way trying to deny.
But they didn't acknowledge it at all. Okay,
no, but it was essentially a sequel to that movie.
Well, which was fine,
or an alternate universe version.
Yeah. No, it was a sequel.
It is not a sequel though, Barry. It's in all the principles that have talked about this say it's a what is it? Not a reboot,
a reimagining.
I'm sorry then if you're not making it a sequel, why cast those same actors in those roles?
And you got a sense that all of those people, especially Flag and Harley Quinn, sort of have been doing this. In the first one, it was all new to them. This one wasn't.
Flag and Harley had a bit of a rapport and a relationship here, like friendship.
There's nothing wrong with calling it a sequel.
They can call it whatever they want. In my mind,
it's totally
it's a sequel.
It's not a sequel, though.
It's not a sequel.
Everybody can have their own opinion. To me, it's a sequel, and it was far better than the first one, no doubt. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I wouldn't go as far as to say I loved it, but I really did like it, and I think I attribute most of that to James Gunn.
I think he could do better. This is not his best work, in my opinion. I think they tried way too hard to make this an R-rated movie. Way too hard.
Well, but think back to, where did James Gunn start? He started at Troma.
Yeah,
I'm not saying high-budget Troma film.
You compare this to Guardians of the Galaxy. It's light years away from Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, but you had Feige there helping.
He couldn't make the same movie with different characters.
I'm not saying that, but his character development in this was weak.
But the whole point is, you don't need to for Suicide Squad. You don't need to develop the characters because they're not sticking around. Yeah. You need to establish who they are, what they can do, and then do what you do to them. Not with them.
I think you have a little more reverence to characters that people spent 2 hours sort of following, whether you kill them or not.
I think when you put Suicide Squad in the title, It's basically.
I'm normally with you on this, Dave, but in this one I have to go more along with Todd. Like, you don't need to do character development. You need to set up these crazy characters and see which ones make it out alive at the end, and that's kind of the whole
but you
point.
You can't unceremoniously kill them. I think
the way you build franchises, the way you build, superhero character movies, is by establishing characters that you care about, on screen. Were they successful? I think they were. Like, I love these.
It was also Harley
right.
Quinn.
I want to
really
see more.
Don't. I mean, okay. Cutting to the chase, the way they killed Polka Dot Man and the way they killed Flag was just sort of, you followed these characters, one for 2 movies, one for 2 hours, and then they just got killed for just. It should have been a little more to it. I thought it was just very throwaway the way they were. Those characters.
Flag's character was a throwaway anyway.
I don't think so.
But I would say Polka Dot Man was
in him.
Well, Polka Dot Man was
throwaway.
He was a sociopath.
But they gave him a backstory.
That was useful. And
all of a sudden he gets stopped on by a starfish. I don't know, and I don't love the gore either.
That doesn't bother me at all.
I thought
Flag.
I did think Flag got plenty of screen time. He had his hero moments.
He did,
but that was a good death.
It was a good death.
I feel like it wasn't. I don't know. And then they bring back the bad guy. Basically, I mean, Peacekeeper, whatever his freaking name is. This was very Suicide Squad
back because he's got a series premiering in January on HBO Max.
I don't like. You make a Batman movie and you have him using machine guns and shooting people and doing all these things that Batman doesn't do, and you move Gotham City and all that kind of stuff. Okay, you're not faithful to the original material, or you're not even in the ballpark.
That's all wrong.
This was Suicide Squad. This was what it was. Okay, I like the little twists they put in there. I love the people, like the people back at the office betting on these people. Okay, who was going to survive? And then themselves getting vested in like they're surviving and taking it on their own to not end things at that point. I liked Starro being used as like a kaiju. Okay,
Starro was amazing. I looked for my Starro mask that I got a Comic Con one year. I couldn't find it in time for the podcast. Sorry. But Starro's amazing.
And the whole idea. So these people ended up in this like world-ending saving situation, but by accident. They were sent to do a very small mission that spiraled out of control and became this big thing. They weren't sent to stop this like this metaphysical magical entity like they were in the other one. No, they went in there and everything just went off the rails and it just kept getting worse.
Well, they went in there because they were being sent as a distraction, expecting that all of them were going to die.
Well, again, but if they accomplish a mission, they accomplish the mission.
But they broke the rules to go do the right thing, and then a lot of them died for it. I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like throwaway characters, even if.
But that is the whole premise of the show, Dave.
All right, that's why I didn't like it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And it was.
It's not good filmmaking. I couldn't even think to watch this a second time, except for Sebastian. The rat was
great. The shark was great.
The rat was
all right. My favorite character, and it was a very short-lived character, TDK. Love TDK. The detachable kid. And then I love when the guy says to him, "Your name is letters." It's like,
it was I'd say
from what I read,
this movie
TDK,
it was fun. This movie was so much fun.
TDK was originally a character from the comics called Arms Fall Off Boy. Is
yes,
that right?
yeah,
I read that.
Yeah. And that's where, like I said, getting the people back, putting what's his name there in the beginning. I like this. I like this a lot.
Rooker?
Rucker, thank you. Rooker. And it was what Suicide Squad should be and should have been. And if they never go back to this, they've at least done justice to what the concept was.
Yes.
Whereas the other one made no sense. Previously they would like pick in the comics, they would pick people and suit their abilities to the mission and stuff like this. And then sometimes they just took everybody that was expendable and threw them at something and decided to see who was going to survive. It was like a Survivor, and that's what happened here. And right
but
down
meanwhile,
to
why does Harley Quinn live? Because everyone likes her character. I mean, she's probably the least equipped to even get.
But you know what? I will say this, and again, I think this goes back to James Gunn doing a better job than I think you're giving him credit for, Dave. But the Harley Quinn stuff where she's fighting and all of a sudden it flips to her perspective and she's seeing flowers and birds.
Yes.
And, I mean, I love that scene because that's what she went.
Yes,
you are standing there watching her. You're just seeing her kill people, but she's seeing it as
she's
completely different.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, this was the best Harley Quinn that we have had on screen, live action ever. Okay, this is not her movie, which is abysmal.
Worse
not
than
the other Suicide Squad.
Movies.
And if you go back and watch it again, Todd, watch as she's sort of finishing that sequence.
Oh, yeah.
The birds are actually hiding because they're scared of her.
They're scared.
They're flying around.
That's what I'm saying. And it's like, these are crazy people, okay? And that's an insult to crazy people.
And
okay?
if she has a power, I mean, she oozes charisma, like in a crazy way. So in a way, that's her superpower. So
when she just kills that dude. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And it's like,
if I ever had a boyfriend,
what do you expect? I'm a scorpion. Okay, this is what I do. And
even though you had that monster between your
it's like it was great, but it's like.
But I also liked how this one. This is why this isn't a sequel, because Amanda Waller's a fundamentally different character.
Yes,
than
she
was
more
in
who
the
she
first
was.
one. This is more exactly who she was and who she should be than the first one from the Abomination.
Felt like the same. Maybe she felt like she was maybe more hardened in this one, but I felt like she was basically the same character.
I think, but they also made her very off book in the other way. This the big objection. If you go back and listen to our show on this, the thing that just threw me out of that movie was when she had, killed the FBI agents who were witnesses to what she had done, and it's like that is not Amanda Waller. Okay.
That took me out of that movie. Right?
Yeah, but you also have
that
history because you know the character. I don't know the
character.
character.
99.9% of people don't know these characters.
But it's got to serve both audiences. You've got to treat the character right, and it's got to be palatable for people who have no experience with it whatsoever.
Right. I think if you're making a movie based on source material, you've got to honor the source material. You have a problem.
DC has not done that yet.
I disagree.
Except for maybe.
Well, and I also think that you have to ride a line between honoring the source material for the fans that know it. In the case of this, just like with Guardians, there's very few people that know or care about the source material. It's not like Iron Man or Captain America, right? It's a much smaller.
This is more faithful to the source material than Guardians was,
but nobody knows.
But not nobody knows. But what he did in Guardians is he took something that didn't work and was a very hard sell, and he made it into something that was much more approachable and worked. In this, he went back to the core concept, and this is why I give him a lot of credit. He didn't just duplicate what he'd done previously. He went back to the core concept, probably said what didn't work and why, and delivered it. And, he gave you a couple characters you could at least follow through. You could get on Idris Elba's back and say, okay, I'm looking at this through his perspective. I know his motivations. I'm going to follow him through this. And the movie worked for me. I think it was very good. I don't even want to say it redeemed the previous one, because I would pay to have the previous one take it out of my head. I liked it, and I thought there were some kick-ass scenes in this movie. The collapsing floor thing, was just awesome. The Starro was great.
I loved the fight sequence where you basically saw the entire sequence reflected in the helmet.
It was
that was a cool shot.
It's like this is what James Gunn does. He looks at something from a perspective that you would never come up with. This is like, remember the opening sequence from Guardians 2 where they're fighting the tentacle monster? Okay.
Yes.
Which, by the way, they've acknowledged is the tentacle monster from What If. But it's that kind of thing where most of the action is outside of the frame, but you're just getting these things. And it was the same thing there. He's brilliant in that way.
Done to the brilliant soundtrack of Electric Light Orchestra.
Yes, absolutely.
That really redeemed Electric Light Orchestra. That
my first concert.
Movie.
You know, it's funny.
Is that right? ELO
I saw you said that, Daryl, the other day, and I have to say, I have been to a lot of concerts in my life, and I always wanted to see ELO, and they finally played Madison Square Garden like 4 years ago, and it was one of the best concerts I've ever seen.
ELO's amazing.
Yeah,
so
Jeff
good.
Lynne is a god. So
I used to be embarrassed maybe when I was in high school because I thought they were great and I loved them so much. It was my first concert. It was, look, there were other cooler bands. They were touring.
They're awesome. They're just awesome.
Yeah, it was one of my first dates, and it was a special night.
Yeah.
ELO.
The best lines in this movie, by the way, and Todd and I texted it to each other right after it happened because we were watching it like 5 minutes apart. But did anybody check if Weasel could swim? Was it great?
So great! Oh my god! It's like it just and then of course he survives. Yeah. And so freaking creepy looking. It's like
it's so good.
And that's James Gunn's brother.
Yeah,
playing Weasel.
As what?
Who also played?
He was
played Julian Day, Calendar Man, and so they did the Calendar Man as Tim Sale, reimagined it with the calendar months all the way tattooed around his head, and yeah.
Well, I liked it. I didn't love it. I liked it though. I definitely.
I will say I. This is one of my favorite DC movies. I got to say, for this within this universe, I'm not going to put
That's
this
not
on
a high bar, though.
No, it's not. But I'm saying I'm not going to put this on a plane with Wonder Woman or something like that.
Good movie.
But I'm saying this honored the source material. It was an odd choice, but he did a great job with it. It was far beyond what my expectations were. So.
I think I would agree. Yep.
Been seeing James Gunn talk about this thing on Twitter for a year and a half. I expected more out of it. I don't know why, the way he talked about it, but it's just, I don't love the gore. I think it was over the top. It wasn't my thing.
I love the title sequence, the movable title sequences that they had throughout it, where they did like, okay, we're doing this, and then they change. Nope, we're doing this instead. That was very James Gunn. There was a lot of James Gunn in here. I think he's probably a somewhat disturbed dude, but in a very good way. So, yeah.
So, Todd, I'll go so far as to put that this might be, up there with the Batmans for my, the Nolan trilogy for my favorite DC movies. I loved Wonder Woman. This might even beat Wonder Woman because I came in having very low expectations.
Yep.
And I was surprised. This was unpredictable. It was, I like the source material, and it totally achieved the source material. And I came out of it with a bunch of characters that I didn't care that much about going in, that kind of Guardians-like endeared me to them. So I just came out so happy. I'm like, wow, this is really a bright spot. I was so happy.
And they even explained Ratcatcher. It's like,
my son, his favorite superhero is Ratcatcher too.
I like her. She's the only character I like her.
But I mean,
Ratcatcher too.
going to that scene with her dad and just explaining why rats.
I love that. I love rats, and they're right. They're unappreciated animals.
Thank you for bringing up Ratcatcher. Great character.
And then there were two. I looked up the rats because that's the only thing that interests me. There were two main rats in the movie. One called Jaws, who most of the sitting on her shoulder, and there was another one. called what was it? It was
These are real rats who
these are two. Yeah,
I never would have thought for a second they were real rats.
There was CGI, but the one that sat on the woman's shoulder was Jaws, and the other one was Crisp Rat. After Chris Pratt. Crisp.
Crisp Rat. Brilliant.
Oh, and it comes back to Guardians.
He would scurry. He was the one who did like the action scenes.
That was great. Yeah. That was great. And again, the rats running up into the eye, all this kind of, it's just, I've watched it twice now. I really like it. I
really have. Between the episodes of Stargirl, you have a lot of TV.
It's just, that was a chore. This was a pleasure.
Yes.
And it's again, like I said, super pleased with it. I love the villain they chose. I don't know if any of you read, there's numerous articles online saying that like evil Superman was going to be the original villain of this. So much better that they went this way. And
so
you know,
much.
this was perfect.
It's much easier to beat up a starfish than
it is. And yeah.
Well,
and also
Peter Capaldi was fun too, right? I mean,
Peter Capaldi, yes. I mean, perfect. You know, the Mad Thinker and you know, was great. So basically, again, we got a villain, you know, the big villain that really just wants to go home. Yeah, you know, it just really just wanted to be out floating in space. You know, this was not, you know, it's like just if they had just left it alone to begin with, it would have been fine. So, you know.
Okie dokie. Let us know what you think. Jim Bush, we know what you think. You liked it. I read your comments on Twitter. You thought it was an unexpected delight. You're wrong, but that's fine.
No, he is absolutely correct. Dave, I would say if we were to vote, you are actually outnumbered right now.
That's okay.
Yeah, so, I would agree.
So
I like the rat, Sebastian, in his little vest.
There was more to life than just the rat.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. What's in the box?
Show you with the box. Who's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box?
Regular Joe's What's in the Box.
Daryl, what's in the box?
So so I collect a lot of action figures, and one of
is that true?
I was unaware of
it is true. So, and I also have talked about I love crossover collectibles.
Yes.
You know, things that combine two in one. So, one very obscure line of superheroes from the 1970s was from Mego called Pocket Heroes, and they were 3 3/4 figures.
Yep.
That they weren't as articulated as Micronauts were, but they were kind of more like what Star Wars was, just, you know, basically 5 points of articulation. So Pocket Heroes had a whole line, bunch of figures, and a bunch of domestic vehicles. What I got in recently is a figure that was released only in the UK.
Oh, look at that.
So this is like the Superpowers series, right?
Is that a Micronauts vehicle?
That's something different.
It is, Barry. So this preceded Superpowers, Todd.
Okay.
These are 3 3/4 scale figures produced by Mego. This was actually in the UK under an affiliate called Lion Rock. Might have been a subsidiary or another.
Lion Rock did.
It's called the Bat Shuttle,
or Star Wars or something.
and this is made of Micronauts vehicle pieces. So
this is very cool.
A cool combo for me because it combines my love of Batman vehicles, which is the Bat vehicle I didn't have, the Bat Shuttle, with Micronauts vehicle pieces. So cool thing here is mint in the box. I paid a premium for it, but I've been searching for this for years, probably a decade.
Wow.
And so it's interesting. The Bat Shuttle logo is made of the Batman logo, or the Batman font. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty generic,
but still, no, it's kind of cool that
it's got that drop shadow. There's another one in the series called a Robin Dragster, I think, or something like that. Oh, it's a Robin Shuttle to go with the Bat Shuttle. So I'm still searching for that. If anyone has that for a super cheap price, a sweet mint in box copy, I'm in the market for that.
There you go.
And then that'll pretty much complete my Mego Pocket Heroes.
How many
collection.
figures are there in that?
There aren't that many. I want to say maybe 15
that's
figures
nice.
total.
That's a nice,
it's a nice tight collection.
Not easy collection, but it's nice.
Yeah.
Well, congrats on finally tracking that down. That's cool.
So
thanks,
Pocket Heroes transitioned to Superpowers?
And no. This was from Mego. So this was an obscure Mego line. It totally got overshadowed by the 8-inch, articulated Megos, the Planet of the Apes type of Megos.
Weren't the Superpowers figures Mego also?
No, those were Kenner.
Kenner. Okay, so they got the license after Mego.
Yes.
Okay, so I did have. I think
exactly.
I just merged those together in my head.
Yep.
So I had some of the Pocket Heroes. I remember the heads like the
Superpowers came out, I think, in 85. So it came out like 7 or 8 years.
Okay. So what I had was the Pocket Heroes. Because I remember
the Pocket Heroes were both Marvel and DC, weren't they?
They were.
Yeah, I remember. I think I had the Captain America.
I can remember doing head swaps with those. The heads were attached to the capes, and like doing head swaps and putting Batman's head on Superman's body and stuff like that. And so good times.
Very cool.
Yep.
Todd, what's in the box?
Okay. A couple weeks ago, Dave, you had something that I had just ordered. And you had the
Jurassic Park thing.
Jurassic Park tip of the cane. And so you had a criticism of it, and I thought about it, and I said, I think I want to just keep looking. And I did. And so I have this now.
Oh.
Okay. Ooh. So I have a reproduction of the cane, okay, which is about 3 times as much. But if you can see here, there's an actual dead insect in here.
Oh, it's not just half like
an actual.
Yeah, there's an actual dead insect in the faux amber, and it's on a turn thing that they made look like they did a good job with making it look like the
cane,
the bone cane, and but it's kind of cool, and it's from a company called Causology, which is extremely hard to type into your browser because it's causology.com, because it will change it to cosmology. But it's causology.com, and they have a couple different versions of it. And I got like the slightly weathered one. And I have a Doctor Who umbrella, and I got a couple other things. And I was thinking, I've got like a kind of a cane umbrella stand I'm going to add a couple more pieces to, because it looks kind of cool together.
That's really cool.
And I remember seeing somebody makes a Godzilla foot umbrella holder that might be
I've seen it. I have like a big, huge like glass jar that I put them in, and I've always wanted to get Barnabas Collins's cane from Dark Shadows.
Dark Shadows.
And now I have a way to display. I'm going to put that all together with this in there, and so
the Emperor's cane too.
Yeah, it would be cool. And so this is, like I said, it's kind of cool. And also John Steed's umbrella sword, which people made different versions of. So anyways, but yeah, very, very, very cool.
Nice.
And that's that. So
congratulations.
Dave, what do you got?
That's a sweet piece.
Yeah.
I got something. It's sort of a shirt up, but we're not doing shirt up. I don't know if anyone knows what this shirt is from. So this came this week in a bag. Does anyone know this restaurant?
Dragon of the Black Pool Cantonese cuisine. Is that from a
Big
movie?
Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
There you go. Big Trouble in Little China.
Yep.
We were channel surfing, and Pam and I used to watch that movie when it came out in the 80s.
Yeah.
And we just watched it. I'm like, I wonder if someone makes that shirt. And T Public or T Fury or T somebody made it. So I'm like, that's obscure.
I want that shirt. That's great.
I'll send you the link. Yeah. So that's such it's so 80s and so.
Oh, it is, but it's great. Though. It was so over the top.
So over the top.
The thing that sticks in my head was like standing in the archway and firing the gun dramatically in the air and knocking himself out.
Great in that.
Yeah, so good.
If you haven't seen it, see it. It's fun.
I haven't seen that in 20, 30 years, probably.
Yeah.
I have I must have been 80. I have the press kit and the poster from that. That was back when I used to say I went to NYU and we're having a screening of the movie, so could you send us materials? And they would always send us stuff.
Yeah. Back when you could have Kim Cattrall play an Asian person.
No, she wasn't Asian.
So,
and that girl Susie Pie or Susie Poop, the dude's girlfriend with the green eyes, was in Tattingers. She played. I remember asking her about Big Trouble, and she said it was just nuts.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was in the bag. Barry, what's in the box?
Well, I have something that I didn't get in a box. I'm going to just use it anyway. I picked it up at Target the other night. I was walking through Target, doing some food shopping. I don't know why, but I can't go to Target and not walk through the toy aisle. But I found something I wasn't expecting to find. It is a Bandai model kit of the Razor Crest.
Oh, look at that.
That's interesting.
It's really small. I mean, it's a very small ship once you build it. I haven't built it yet. It's only like 20 pieces or whatever. Apparently they make 2 versions. This is the less expensive version. There's also a version that comes in all chromed plastic.
Oh.
But I'll paint it chrome, so it'll be fine. But yeah, this is probably an easy one-day build. I can paint it, weather it, and assemble it all in one sitting at some point when it's like a rainy day. But yeah, it was like $13. It was cheap, and I was not expecting to find this there. So
there you go. Nice.
Razor Crest model. There's a 1/72nd scale kit of the Razor Crest coming out towards the end of the year that's going to be more like $60 or $70. That I'm excited about that one because that is got more to it. But
that like about 12.
It's probably going to be like 12, 13 inches long.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's about that. That'd be a good size for that.
Yeah, but this will be a fun little couple hour project.
No, oh, that's good.
Cool. That's what's in the box. Okay, that's wow. We actually got everything in sort of an hour.
Good.
I guess we could say we're taking vacation. We're
taking a little bit of a break
because we have overlapping vacations coming up. So, unless Darryl and Brian want to guest host,
yeah, maybe Brian. Let's talk.
But we'll be off for a week-ish or so, and we'll.
If we can find a way to get a show in, we will. But if not, we'll be back.
We still may be able
September.
To do something. We could see that.
Yep.
But any last thoughts? I'm afraid to ask.
I have a quick one. Derryl, did you read the thing I sent to you?
I did.
Okay.
I did read it.
So there was just last month there was a 80th anniversary comic one shot of Green Arrow, and it was like an 80th anniversary celebration. And one of the things that was included in there was a like 5 or 6 page comic called Tap 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 that was written by Denny O'Neil's son. That was just a really, really nice, kind of very heartfelt tribute to his father, and it just kind of went through the course of his life. And this is a character. I mean, Green Arrow would basically be obscure if it wasn't for what he had done in the 70s, and that's why it was there. And I just, like I said, I sent it to Derryl. I actually put it in the folder for you guys to look at it, yeah, I just wanted to mention like I said, it's worth seeking that out if you're a Denny O'Neil fan. It was very honest. He struggled with demons of various kinds, and those are mentioned in there. And but it ends with a very, very touching scene of him, and it basically goes from his childhood to his passing, and very touching scene of him in his hospital bed. And there's like all the characters that he influenced throughout his life are gathered around him as he passes. And it was just, it's someone who has at least a writer in part in my soul, it really touched me. And I thought that was very, very good.
This is somebody who I think gave their life over to, thinking about characters and moving the needle in pop culture and having an impact. And I think part of the story was he was always thinking ahead.
Yes, absolutely.
And he had he was kind of a maverick, a radical himself, and that came through in most of the characters. And I think that's what made his characters tick, especially Green Arrow.
Right.
So Denny O'Neil, genius, and that was a great tribute.
It was a terrific tribute to him. So
yeah.
So that's our
check it out if you have not checked it out and you're a fan. Thank you for that. Okay, we will see you at some time in the not too distant future. It won't be long. Don't worry about it. Go look back and listen to.
Yeah, there's 400 other shows to listen to.
Yeah, you can listen to our original discussion of Suicide Squad, and
that is episode number 217. No, I have no idea.
Or find a show that was about something better.
Or compare and contrast.
Or you guys can actually come tell the toy shows that are actually happening down in the South, and
Jim Bush. No one's wearing a mask.
So what we need to do? We need to do a show where we got to get you and Brian on together because you are the guys that are out there hitting the stuff.
We're going to shows, and our friend Steve is doing promoting his shows, and Jim Bush. I saw him at a show the other week.
He thinks nothing of driving 11 hours. God bless the guy.
He wanted to
I think it's great. I wish I could do it.
So he was at Steve Stovall's Kentuckiana Joe show.
So
you can do it in a safe way. Just wear a mask. And
all right, I do have one other thing, Dave, real quick. I'm just curious, Darryl, what's the update on the book? When am I getting my book?
Hey, so here's the latest. So all the edits have been in the printer for about a month. I haven't heard anything other than to suggest other than that it is in the printing process right now. We were supposed to have them all stateside September 20th in our hands. That's a little over a month. So I don't know if that's going to happen, given that I'm hearing just catastrophic things about container shortages and things like this from Asia. So it wouldn't surprise me. Right now, there's no word to the to controvert that we're going to have them in September. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if once they get to the docks, there's a challenge with it. But that's we'll see.
There's a light at the end of the tunnel, though.
There's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Great.
It's in there. It's being printed. So, yay!
Awesome. There you go.
Star Wars: The Vintage Collection Archive Edition is in print or being printed.
Cool. Check it out, or don't check it out because you have to pre-order it. But
that's right. Pre-orders are open at bluemi.lk. Or that's it. BLUEMI.lk.
There you go.
Pre-order it there.
What is LK?
It's one of these country.
Yeah, I was wondering what country it is.
I don't know. Lucasia. I don't know. Liechtenstein.
Latvia. It's Latvia.
I really
don't know.
It
is the URL for Latvia.
I don't know. It's one of these obscure countries. Maybe Kuala Lumpur, but backwards. Maybe it's Luala.
I got to look that up. That's clever. Yeah. So
I actually don't know. Okay. It was available though.
Check it all out. The shows, the books, the Fanboy, and Pops and Hot Toys and Dakota Boogies. And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.